Today is a new day to start again. Take each moment one by one and do the best you can. Yesterday doesn't matter, it only serves as a ladder. Tomorrow isn't guaranteed, so make your plans accordingly. Today is a new day to start again. Take each moment one by one and do the best you can. Grand Rising. Today is a new day to start again. It is 4/2/2025. May 2nd. That's how you start May, baby. All right, I was pretty happy with that. I've had a rough go. And at least I had a good day where I had a couple nice sales and everything went about as good as it could go, really. So very happy with my start. Let's go, May. Sold some stuff. Let's stay on my script here. It was a good overall atmosphere, which was refreshing. It's amazing how much energy you have when you are not constantly using it to protect and build yourself up. I don't want to talk about what was. I'm ready to leave all that behind. It doesn't matter anymore. Yesterday doesn't matter. It only serves as a ladder. I've been noticing my big toe recently because I've been putting emphasis on my big toe. And then I segued to a really weird thing, but we're going to talk about it. I swam yesterday morning and I overexerted myself a little bit, even trying to be very safe. And what I did notice later in the day, a little bit later in the day, was my pee was a strange color. And I found out that that's probably because what I overexerted was getting pushed out of my system. And I thought that was kind of cool to have that as my, I don't know that that's all of it, but I'm like, and I did feel better after. You ever pee and after you finish peeing, you're like, oh boy, I feel better. I like that for sure. When success is gauged on how much money you've saved, I'm not here to change the world. I'm here to change my world. That's why I do these videos. That's why this is important to me. When a customer comes to the store, they're going to get the full experience. My full attention, my best effort. That's how I want to operate. Every up that comes through the door is my responsibility. I do the best I can to help. I'm here to help. That P's starting to come out a little bit with a little more. I think that is part of it too. As you start to sing more and do more with your communication, you do start to pick up some diction. And it does make a difference whenever you're talking, how you talk. I'm here to help when I arrive. What's funny is you'll come into a group and there'll be a bunch of people. I'm really conscious of my group now and my P's and B's. But when you come into a group and you're like, I'm here to help. And everybody's, a couple of, I want to help. A couple are just like, all right, I'm just out of here. This guy's something. And then a couple are just like snickering off to the side, like he's here to help. But like, yeah, I'm legit here to help. I wasn't trying to be funny. I know that sometimes I try to be funny, but that's what I'm here for. I've been working with a kid who recently lost his father. And yesterday, in the process of what I was doing, felt like my most important job. To do my best for this kid, do the best for his father, who I never met, just in the moment of where I was at, and not try to put any emphasis on it. Just let everything happen the way it's supposed to happen, but try to be very timely in what you say. I just was, once I realized the situation I was, and once he mentioned it, I knew that it was important in the air, and I was just trying to make sure that I lived with honor and tried to help. Legit, like, it's like when the tone changes in a movie and you know that it's time to get serious. That happens in life too. You just have to pay attention. If you want to fight me, attack me, go to war with me, you better be patient and have a lot of ammunition. I'm flexible and I'm strong and I'll go where I need to go and I mean, basically you have to squash me. And I'm flexible, so that makes it hard. When you press, I gain strength, actually. So when you start to press into me, I'm just kind of holding it and just been like, have you been working out? Because I have been. I went to a boot camp after my video yesterday. Oh, sorry. I wanted to go to the boot camp after my video yesterday. So I got up really early in the morning and then did my video. And then I did some stuff and was like, you know, I should be using this time to, I was talking about doing the 5 push-ups thing. And I'm like, I keep saying like, so I decided to go to the YMCA because they had a thing for the boot camp. And I got there and I'm all ready to roll. And I got myself motivated, had a whole plan. And then I got there and there was no boot camp. So then I had a lady come over and she brought a chalkboard, well, a marker board, a whiteboard is what they call it, with marker on it that had the steps of what the program was going to be. And she was trying to talk to me about it. And it was really funny in the middle. There's another gentleman that I had been talking to a little bit because I was trying to figure out where the boot camp place was. And now apparently there's no class, even though it's on the thing. And there was a lot of interactions that were really funny. One guy came in and was like, well, I'm sorry, I'm glad we could help you through your confusion. And I was like, well, I wasn't confused. It said on the thing right here that it was supposed to be. So it wasn't my confusion. It was this confusion. And he goes, oh, you're one of those guys that's always got to be right. And I was like, well, no, but it was right. And it was funny because he spun out on it and he kept walking. He walked away and he goes, you got to be one of those guys that's always got to be right, but all right, but it was right. I just was sitting there going, this was fun. Anyways, so then the other guy that was there, I think he was pleasantly amused by the whole thing too. I get it. When you get to be a part of my life, you're going to get to see some fun or action, if nothing else. So then the lady who she rolled over the thing to show me what it was because I was a little disappointed that I wasn't going to be able to go to do the boot camp. And she does, I'm not sure if she's actually an instructor or if she's just somebody that has been around, but she was starting to tell me about what was going on with it. And she started to act like an instructor and she was like going into it. And I'm like, listen, there's no class. I came for the class. Now that there's no class, I'm going to go do other stuff. And I had to say it in a polite way because she was really starting to get into it. I'm like, no, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. I had a thing that I was going to do here and now it's not happening. So I appreciate everybody. And I kind of left politely. It was funny. So then I'm like, all right, now what am I going to do? I went down and I had brought, because I was prepared in my bag, my basketball. No, I didn't. So I had to make a decision because I only had so much space in this bag because I decided I like to do this walking thing. I want to walk everywhere from now on if I can. If I can walk somewhere and I have time to do it instead of driving, I want to do it. Or ride a little bit of bike, but mostly walking. I like walking better. Anyways, so I had to decide between shoes, and I have these Goodwill Nike red shoes that are really just like running shoes, and they're pretty nice, but they're red. And I was in a stage of my life where it seemed I was DoorDash Dave, and red was pretty good, so I thought red would work, so I had red shoes. Now it doesn't really align that much with me. It's drawing too much attention to my feet, but I decided I got to go practical here. I can't paint my shoes. My other choice is to go with my basketball shoes, which are like a mid-high top. But that's not good if I don't want to be walking around outside on shoes that I'm trying to play basketball with, if I ever decide to play basketball. So I got the red shoes on and I left the basketball shoes at home. I decided to go down to open court because it's like 5:30, 6 was tried to be there at 5:30 for the thing, and no one was there. So I had the conversation, so it must have been about 5:45-ish, maybe 6. So then I go down there, and there's basketballs. I walk around to find the best basketball, and I'm like, oh, shoot around some baskets. But here was my thing. When I was trying to teach my daughters how to play basketball, the big thing that I wanted to teach them was, in the beginning, start with just little shots. Don't do anything difficult. Just build your confidence up, work on your form, make sure you're shooting correctly, and see the ball go into the basket a bunch. And just do like little drills right around the basket. And while I was thinking of that, I didn't get too in depth because I was trying to stay in the moment and actually gain, and I can't do that if I'm sitting in La La Land. So I started to focus on what I was going to do. So I started doing these I just wanted to basically shoot like I'm getting the ball on each side and shoot right hand, left hand, right hand, left hand. And I wanted to make 5 in a row and try to keep good posture. And that was my whole thing. And trying to be balanced and watch where the ball goes and really learn that. And I wasn't allowed to shoot jump shots. Then I started to think I could shoot free throws, but I'm like, yeah, I'm not ready for that yet. Then I got into the two-handed jump shot. And I think that there might be something there for me. I was always told you have to shoot with this hand. So I literally learned how to shoot with one arm off the ball so I could be dominant with that. And that was big for me, but it takes so long to shoot. So what I did figure out is you can use the other hand a little bit. There's no reason why you can't, just because they said you can't. Then I looked it up. Then I got in kind of a spiff with an older guy who had his grandson out there, and I was starting to mention that, I'd always thought about that. And then I thought about Larry Bird and Reggie Miller. They both are from Indiana, and they both have kind of a little right-hand action going on, or left-hand action going on in their jump shot. I'm just saying that, you don't have to have such hard rules, and sometimes it helps a little bit. And you can use the other hand to guide it. So, I think that I might start trying a little bit with two-handed shots. I'm also changing to an overlap golf grip. I'm changing my whole life around with all of my new things that I'm doing. I'm going to do it a different way this time. So anyways, I shot baskets. And I really actually enjoyed that. I think that's going to be a drill for me. And as I get better at that, then I'll probably step off and do what they call around the world, where you shoot baseline and go around the world from shorter shots, and really start to work on my form a little bit and start to really work on lifting. I think if I did decide I wanted to play basketball and really enjoy playing again, I would want to have to be a position guy, like down in the trenches, try not to get hurt and keep good posture. And I think I could be a valuable asset to a basketball team because I get a lot of good rebounds. I could pass the ball a lot, and I really don't want to shoot all that much unless I have to, and just kind of be a part of the game. That would be fun. So I think I might try to think. I can't be a guy that's going to drive to the hole very often. Every once in a while you can gear it in, but this is like that's one thing I was talking to the guys about too, as I was cooling down and changing. I got into that whenever you are 50 and you start to feel like you're 25, you have to remember that you are 50 still. Just because you feel like you're 25, just because you're greased and lubed up a little bit, don't mean that you can go be 25-year-old. You're not anymore, just because you feel like it. But you do feel like it, so you can use it. That's where the wisdom comes into play. It's funny. But I have been doing so much stuff that inevitably my body starts to form, and it's funny. I am taking a lot of baths, so I have to see myself in the mirror, and I keep walking. No, I'm trying not to be vain, but I'm like, what the hell's going on here? Who's this guy? I've never seen this before. And that's kind of fun. People pay more attention to people who are obviously disciplined. When you can look at somebody and go, well, that guy's been, or woman, whatever, has been doing stuff. You can tell, what do they got going on? And if you walk in the walk, you walk with good posture, it shows the effort and the persistence. And you must give credit where credit is due. But some people get very envious too. They don't realize that you put a lot of effort in to get there. That's the worst part too. Sometimes when you make it look easy, it can be really pushed back against. So I still need a couple songs. I've been working on what I'm going to be singing. I've decided this morning, Stand by REM. I'm going to enjoy singing that song. And then You're So Bad, Tom Petty. I don't really have a girl to be singing to, but that doesn't mean you can't go sing songs that have that in there. Just because I wasn't in the military doesn't mean I can't talk about it. It's the same kind of thing. That's the one that really is the hard one, because people did give their lives for causes. And whenever you're talking about that and you did not experience that, it's a very strong card that can be played against you that really is pretty much impossible to recover or to come out of social. Like if somebody shames you socially because you disrespected military service, it is really hard to gain any credibility back in a setting. So you as a person that That's one of the social mores that we have in our society. But if you're able to remove your emotion from all of that and take a step back and look at that from a side angle that has no affiliation to it at all, you could see that it's not something that should be in place. It leads to all kinds of bad stuff. I remember when I was younger, I would start to look for things to go bad when they started going good. I think that happens when we don't feel worthy. That happens when we're young because we haven't earned any of this. We're getting way too much, way too soon. But you can learn. All you really have to do is be disciplined, regardless of when that wave comes, regardless. And you can learn to ride it. You're gonna ride it one way or another. It's just a matter of how well you ride it. So when I've never surfed before in my life, but I know a lot about surfing. I don't know nothing. I bet I could figure it out pretty fast, though. It's pretty much like everything else. It's posture and alignment. But anyways, I think when you're young, you don't feel worthy because you haven't had the accomplishment. You haven't had to go through the difficulties of what is the perseverance that's needed to become disciplined. But we catch the wave anyways, and we're really strong and young, so we can do really well with it. But the wave owns us most of the time. If we are well practiced, so people that are young, that are brought up well, they find their center, they align, they have good stance and balance, and they can ride that wave their whole life. And they own the wave. So I think it comes down, but they feel worthy because of their discipline. Even if you're handed everything, but you still live fine, you still lived fine. I mean, you can't fault a person for having all of this stuff, this abundance, as long as you're living fine. As long as you are taking care of yourself, it's a social account. You're not responsible for the world. You're responsible for your deeds. And that starts from the day one clock, I think, once you start to gain awareness. So once you're aware of your doings, you are now responsible. So if you don't want to be aware, ignorance is bliss. That's the whole thing. Be a squirrel. Just run around. Maybe they're smart. Who knows? That's why they're blissful. So I think it comes down to whenever you do things and you're gaining things or getting hit by things, is joy or guilt, basically. There's joy, which leads to peace because you're disciplined, and it's not about deserving. You're getting things because they're there. You're not taking, you're just getting. And then you're giving. But then there's the guilt when you're getting more than you deserve. You're making that's where you are holding yourself accountable. And so then you need to redeem to find the joy and peace, so that whenever you're disciplined and the wave comes, you feel worthy. Which is very difficult to do, because everybody in the world, especially people that held on to you, that knew you before, or was using you before, or whatever was affiliated with you before, you've made this decision, this new awareness that you have moving forward, they will hold you back and bring you back to where you were. And, it's just important, I think. That's why I really try to resonate with this. Yesterday, someone said I should get a gray cat. And that was a conversation I've been talking about, getting Bodhi a cat, because she gets lonely, I'm sure. And I do. So I've been toying around with that idea. So a little gray cat showed up yesterday, right in front of my front porch. At first I wasn't sure who it was. There's this little gray cat that's been running around. We've been talking about it a little bit. And I don't know if it's a boy or a girl, actually. But the cat's just sitting there. And so Bodhi's out in front with me. I said I wasn't going to do that anymore, but I had a nap. I think I slept really hard. And then it's so crazy because it doesn't get dark out until 10 o'clock at night. It doesn't seem like late. And so I woke up at like 8 and still light out. And so we went out front, and that's where this cat was. And so it was funny. I sent my daughters a text about it, and I'm not bringing in no new cat right now. I don't think I need a cat right now. I got some plans ahead of me that I have to make sure. I've just got things. I have plans. How'd that happen? I've walked around in life and ended up with some plans that I got to do. But I'm going to be doing that moving forward, so I don't need a cat right now. I got to keep my head down, work hard, not spend any money, and use what I've learned. I drink water and I don't eat much, and I've got a lot of groceries that I've built up, so I'm in a pretty good spot, actually. But don't forget to do the things that you love. That's why we are here, to experience life. So don't waste time waiting. Just find things to do. It's really funny and endearing to me recently. I had an old friend. I have an old friend. I think everybody's got probably one of these. That was a really special person in my life that I don't even talk to anymore. And I'm not really sure why. I'm sure that I've done things. If I was going to guess, I've done things that I'm not fully aware that I did, that whatever. It doesn't really matter. Our memory is a funny thing. We remember things how we remember them, and other people remember things how they remember them. But one of the really things I've enjoyed about becoming older is it's like flashbacks they talked about with LSD, but I never took LSD. You have these moments where you have these things where you remember like vividly conversations that have always been with you, is what is intriguing to me. Like I have this memory of a friend of mine, and we were talking about whether I was going to run track or cross country, because I was pretty fast and I was in my junior high days, and one of my friends was actually trying to recruit me, kind of, because they were a runner and they were competitive and they saw that I was pretty fast, and they were also a pretty good friend of mine. And so they were talking to me about it, and they started talking about running on your toes, and you have to get to where you start to do that. And basically, I didn't want to do it. And I was like, I don't want to run on my toes. And I don't think you're right. And I'm walking around and I'm like, and it doesn't feel right to me. It took me like 50 years. No, it's not 50, because that was probably when I was, 15-ish, 16-ish, 14-ish, somewhere in that range. And so what is that? I'm 50. So let's see if I can do math. 5 is 20, so that's 35, right? So 35 years ago. It took me 35 years, and I was, over the last few days, and I've been thinking about that all through my life a little bit, and I started doing it, and I've been focusing on my big toe, and literally, as you start to do it, it's a whole different world. I don't know why I haven't tried to do that. You should really probably walk on your toes most of the time, especially if you're like a hunter. So it's like, I want to reach out to that person and be like, I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know why that should have probably taken that account right there. I can't even imagine what my life would have been like if I would have started doing that, because that was right when I was starting to become an athlete, kind of. I was the privileged one. I would have rather been the kid that rode the moped to work a part-time job as a young teen, like a paper route kid. But I wasn't. I was the rich kid. And the reputation you carry has a big impact on yourself. So what you bring into a room and how people remember you, it's a big part of life. People that don't resonate with me really focus on results. So one of the things that I found is the people that don't like my videos are the ones that are really successful. Where am I at? So here's what I'm trying to say. If we are well practiced, practice is a big one. I love practice. When you're practicing pretty much anything, you find the center of wherever you're practicing, and then you find your center. You align to above, and you get a good foundation and stance in everything that you're doing. You find the best way for you to stand. Stand in the place where you are, now face north. Balance. And then you want to be able to balance. You want to be able to handle which way ever it goes. And then you own the wave. I already did this part. Where am I at? Really focus on the results. Oh, love. Is this 7? There we go. I got turned around. Look at my life. If you can't handle your own life, they will not understand me because it takes too long to explain myself. So that's the problem. That's why I don't resonate with successful people, because I'm not successful. And the proof is in the pudding, usually. So I'm working on it. I'm figuring out ways. I told somebody a while back that I had figured out what I wanted to do with my life was to follow the way. And I wanted to show my life following the way. And I didn't know how I was going to do that and still be a dad, and still be a successful father, still be a successful person in life. And so far, I've not achieved that. But I still am working on it. I got time, and I'm really healthy. I just want my children, and that's what if anybody is wondering, like, intent is what I talk about a lot. When I'm doing these positive affirmations and intent, and I'm making my prayer goes to what is best for my children. That is what my prayer and my intent goes to. So everything that I'm doing, all of my goodwill goes to that. That's what I give homage to. So I don't know if that works or not, but that's the best I got right now. But in the process of all of this, you know how I've been doing things in my personal life that has started to develop my body? As I do stuff in my professional life in that same manner, I would think would follow suit. You need to have the right clothes to wear. Half my clothes are not fitting anymore, and there's clothes that would fit me better. Because if the shoe fits, you don't even need shoes. You can walk around on your feet because you've learned how to walk on your toes, and your body's just way better. Your feet are better. You have a better soul. You have better heels and toes. You don't need money. You don't need fame. Don't need no credit card to ride this bus. I ride a bus a lot. I don't mind the bus at all. I think it's kind of cool. You don't have to drive. It's just you hope it's safe. You don't want anybody slamming into the side of you. It's strong and it's sudden and it's cruel sometimes, but it might just change your life. That's the power of love. How fast have I got this video? It's 27 minutes. I don't know that I can make this video work. This should be like a 7-minute video, and we're at 27 minutes. Love is the way. Woo-wee. That's what I'm trying to preach. Be a disciple of Jesus. The real Jesus. The one that we really know is to be true. And you will own the wave. Be a surfer. Be a Jesus surfer. The power of love. Did you get that? That's what it is. Love and the way is the same thing. We've just got to redefine what love is to what it is. All we need is love. Bum-ba-da-da-dum. All we need is love. Bum-ba-da-da-dum. All we need is love. Love. Love is all you need. Love is all you need. Love is all you need. Well, I'm going to keep it under 30. I've been really on this Trinity thing. I'm trying not to offend people because I know that there's a big thing with the Trinity. That's what really the largest Christian discussion was about, was the Trinity. So there's meaning in everything. That's all I can say. And there's a way to resonate. There's a tone. There's a wave. And you don't have to, there's not any particular way. There's a lot of different methods to ride the wave. But the way is always. And we just figure out how to go and flow with it. But it's really important to understand that if you have things on you, it weighs you down and makes it much harder to ride the wave. So that's why you give up all earthly belongings thing. Nobody wants to do that, but It's really the answer, honestly. Do great. Be great. Be grateful.